We'll now introduce you to the moderately recognizable cognates, or moderate cognates for short. These are Spanish words that don't have an obvious correspondence with an English word. However, you'll see the correspondence once we point out the sound change pattern to apply and the corresponding English word or word root. If you don't know what a word root is, we'll explain more on this later. Now let's use the common greetings to illustrate the moderate cognates.
Buenos días. That meant good morning, or good days literally. The Spanish word bueno means good. From the expression bon appétit, which means good appetite, you'd know that bon means good. From bueno, swap the UE for o, and you get bono, which is very similar to bon. Now the Spanish word dia means day. Note that the English word diary contains the root dia, which means day. After all, a diary is where you write what happens each day. Buenas tardes. That meant good afternoon. The Spanish word tarde means afternoon. It's cognate with tardy, which means late. This makes sense as the afternoon comes later in the day. Buenas noches. That meant good night. The Spanish word noche means evening or night. It's cognate with the root noct in nocturnal, which means relating to the night. From noche, swap ch for ct, and you'll get nocte, which is very similar to the root noct. Adiós. That meant goodbye. You can break up the word to a and dios, literally to God, or sending someone to God as they depart. Dios means God in Spanish and is cognate with deity. ¿Cuánto cuesta? That meant, how much does it cost? The Spanish word cuánto means how much. It's cognate with quantity. Cuesta is cognate with cost, also swap the UE for O.
All Spanish numbers 1 through 10 have English cognates. To start with, you already know how to count from 7 to 10 in Latin, which is septem, octo, novum, decem. This is because the early Roman calendar only had 10 months, and September, October, November, December meant the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th month of the year. The Spanish numbers evolved from their Latin forms.
You start with septem, octo, novem, decem. In step 1, drop the trailing M and the middle P. Now you get set, octo, nove, dice. In step 2, change the middle vowel from single to double. E becomes IE, and O becomes UE. Now you get siete, octo, nueve, dice. In step 3, swap CT for CH and CE for Z. Finally, you get siete, ocho, nueve, diez.
Here are the English cognates of the Spanish numbers 1 through 6.
The Spanish numbers for 1, 2, 3, and 6 are already somewhat similar to the English numbers. They will become very similar by doing some simple sound changes. From Spanish uno, change U to O, also you've seen it in Uno cards. From Spanish dos, swap D for T and drop the S, and you'll get two, which sounds the same as the number 2. From Spanish tres, swap T to TH and drop the S, and you'll get 3. The Spanish seis and English 6 just sound very similar already. Now, hear these numbers pronounced in Spanish. Uno, dos, tres, seis. The word cuatro is cognate with quarter, which means 1/4. The tip is to change the C to Q. The word cinco is cognate with the word root quin in quintuplet, or quintuple, which means 5 times. The tip is to change C to QU. Now hear these numbers pronounced in Spanish. Cuatro, cinco.
In summary, to see the cognate connection, you often need to apply some sound change pattern on the Spanish word to arrive at the corresponding English word or the word root, whose meaning is identical or similar. In all the lessons, tips will be provided to explain such moderate cognates when they appear for the first time. Now, why do we emphasize using cognates instead of just direct memorization of the English meaning? because once the cognate connection to a familiar English word is made, you just won't forget it. Based on our estimate, these moderate cognates make up about 20% of everyday Spanish.